Hello and welcome to Literary Bites, a podcast of short stories with deep feelings and everyday inspirations, written and narrated by me, Cassie Hamer, coming to you from Gadigal country in Sydney, Australia. Today's story is titled Thylacine, which, as you may know, is the name of what we commonly know as the Tasmanian Tiger, a large carnivorous marsupial now thought to be extinct. Or is it? Every so often, blurry photos and videos make their way into the media that purports to be imagery of the striped dingo-like creature, proving that it still exists. None of these have been verified, and it's thought that the last Thylacine died in captivity in 1936. Regardless, there are those who ardently believe there are still Tassie Tigers out there, and they are determined to find them. People who believe passionately in what they cannot see are always fascinating to me. There is a fine line between a harmless interest and an all-consuming obsession, and this story examines the familial ructions of one such obsession. And just a small note that there is some mild swearing in this story. Thylacine, written and narrated by Cassie Hamer. Mum's chopping onions again. She holds a piece to her nose, closes her eyes. I'm at the door, still smelling of travel. Mum? Eyelids dart open. Sorry, love, I didn't hear you. She lays the knife flat, wipes her hands on the tea towel as if she's been caught doing something unclean. Dinner'll be soon. Where's Dad? In the shed. He's going out. I stop, tap the door frame. You okay? 2 years ago, I wouldn't have thought to ask because everything about a home seems normal until you leave it. Just the onions, she smiles. It's always just the onions. It's so nice to have you home. She kisses my cheek and I smell the salty brine of her tears. He's in there, rattling around like a 5-cent coin in a money box. Dad, it's me. I press my hand into the smooth cool of the tin door. Dad? Squeal of metal on metal as he wrenches it open, eyeballs me with blank irises, pupils like bullet holes, zero recognition. Dad, it's me, Sam. 3 seconds, then his eyebrows separate, head jerks back. Sammy, so it is. He taps my shoulder, takes in my hair. You look like a bloody hippie, he sighs, gets back to his cage. Mum says you're going out. Oil and dirt, the straw smell of long-cut grass, windows plastered with newspaper clippings that are fading with age like a fast-dying sun. I can recite those headlines like a poem. New footage fuels long, futile hunt for Tasmanian tiger. Ellendale tiger sighting revealed as a hoax. Scientists pin hopes on cloning Tassie tiger. I don't think it was a tiger, I know it was. So are you going out? None of her bloody business. He goes back to yanking bits of metal around the shed. How about you go later? Have some dinner first. When he slams down the gate on the wire cage, it cracks and rolls like thunder, and I hate myself for flinching at what I knew was coming. Dad, come on, I'm only here for the weekend. Take the night off. I jam my hands into my jean pockets and press them to my hip bones as Dad goes for the carving knife, the one he sharpens every time he goes. He checks the blade this way and that, then looks back at me with eyes like metal filings. It's 12 years ago. Me and Dad in the ute, jouncing home along the dirt track back from the lake, prawns on our fingers, gutted fish in the esky, the promise of trout for dinner. I'm 9 and Dad is still the age of legend. In falling light and out of nowhere, he slams on the brakes, cuts the ignition. "What is it, a roo?" I put my knuckles under my bum to get a better view. A finger to his lips. We watch, wait. A creature crosses the trail ahead. A moment that's faster than a heartbeat. Something like a wolf or a wild dog. Are there stripes? The dusk won't tell. But Dad knows. His lips curl back over his teeth. "Well, I'll be," he whistles under his breath. "What, Dad? What'd you see?" "Jesus bloody Christ." He looks at me. "You saw it, didn't you?" "That was it. That was bloody it." His eyes have a wildness, a joy that scares me. He squeezes the steering wheel like he's choking it. "You saw it, Sammy, didn't you? You saw it, the stripes?" He looks at me and his desperation has a peaty smell. "I saw it too, Dad. I saw it." For the rest of the drive, he talks like a typewriter. At home, he shows me photos, his scrapbook. He's even got a video of the last one, Benjamin, walking restlessly up and down the wire fence. "Died of neglect," says Dad. "Left out in the cold one night by a slack-ass zookeeper." He borrows one of my exercise books to write a detailed record. Where we were, the time, the stripes, the distinctive stiff tail. And when he asks me if I want to sign it, I say, "Yes, Dad." And I love how he squeezes my shoulder when I've finished. That night when I dream, I replay the whole thing in my head. And this time, it's not a fox or a dog or a wolf that walks across the trail. It's definitely Benjamin. And it's like my memory is water that shapeshifts to fulfill whatever space needs filling. In the days after, Dad rings the local paper and tells his mates what he's seen. That he knows it's out there. He knows. And they'll laugh and say, "Good on you, Kev." And Dad'll look at me and wink, because I saw it too. It's our thing. And none of his buffhead mates can take that away from him, from us. But we never see another one again. Not together. "Tell your mother we're going fishing and we'll be back late." "But Dad, we gave the rods away when I went to uni." He looks at me like I'm a curious museum piece, one he's never seen before. Then he smiles out of the side of his mouth. "At uni, are you?" "Nearly 3 years now." I want to tell him what it's like, how I'm now so used to living in a big city where the air is smoggy but glides in and out of my lungs like a swing, and how the big blue ocean at the city's doorstep doesn't frighten me like the dry, spare paddocks at home and the chaotic bush that imprisons them. Open spaces are not all created equal, I have learned. It's 8 years ago, I'm 13 and my voice twangs like a beginner playing violin. Life is like swimming in a warm pool with the odd cold current, just a patch to get through. But it's getting harder and the cool patches are blooming like blood through a bandage. My mates are starting to notice things, notice Dad, and it's the barbs that make me shiver. On a school excursion to the big Hobart Museum, we get to visit the basement. Jars and jars of pickled specimens, ghostly fetuses caught in limbo, paws pressed to the glass, jaws wide and hungry. In one of the jars is a baby thylacine, white as bone and no bigger than a mouse, eyes that never opened, paws that never touched the ground. A brain that never knew fear, never understood what it was like to be hunted by the territorial farmer. Next to the fetus is another jar that contains a thylacine heart the size of a tombola marble. It's small but perfect. The label says it's very similar to a human's. 4 chambers in all, left and right atrium, left and right ventricle. I press my forehead to the glass and cup my hands to eliminate my reflection. Stare at the heart until my eyes start to sweat. I blink again, and the tiny organ starts to pulse like a star twinkling in the dark. You're not fully gone, I think. Not yet. The next time Dad asks me to go trapping, I say yes straight away. The bellies of the clouds rest on the hills. The bush is cemetery quiet. Dad chooses the spots for the trap. He stops, nose to the wind. I can smell them. He looks around. They're here. Dad, they're not. You know that. Of course they bloody are. They're everywhere. Places crawling with them. Dad, I start and stop. Dad, there aren't any. There's none. They're gone. You don't know that, he growls. But I do know that, and so do you. He looks at me with hatred, and I'm waiting in silence, and the moment crackles, like that gap when you count the seconds between lightning and thunder. But then he shifts, blinks, goes to the cages like I never said a thing, like I wasn't trying to crush him. Come on, you just gonna bloody stand there? After, we drive home in silence. Dad's eyes are fixed ahead, hands pressed to the wheel. He's in there, somewhere, floating in pickling liquid. In the morning, Mum's fussing about with rags and their bedroom smells of urine. Dad snores away on the couch. He forgot where the toilet was, whispers Mum. Didn't even know me. We carry the mattress into the sun, and I want to tell her she doesn't need the onions today. She doesn't need to pretend. He seems fine now, I say. Don't worry. You'll have to go and check the traps, Mum wipes her hands. He was worrying about them last night. I'll go after lunch. I'm meeting Stu at the pub. That's good, love, she says with hope. Yesterday I told her I was thinking about staying in Sydney after graduation, trying to get an internship at one of the big accounting firms there. An hour later, she was chopping onions. Mum goes on. You two were peas in a pod back in the day. You must miss him. Yeah, I say. Be really good to see him. How's uni then? Stu's hand clasped protectively around the pot, like he's worried I'm going to take a cheeky swig, which is something I might have done a few years ago. Yeah, pretty good, pretty easy. 6 months and then I'm done. To describe my city life to him feels like trying to describe a sunset. There just aren't the words. And what's the point anyway? How's the farm then, mate? Well, could do with some rain, but we'll be right. We reach for our beers. Stu's bashed up akubra takes up most of the table. In the background, the barman polishes glasses, waits for more customers. At midday on a Saturday, the pub is as empty as the sky, with only the aromas of beer and cigarettes to trouble it. I lower my voice. Remember how hard we used to try to get into this joint? A fake ID? What were we thinking? It's a shithole. I've still got mine. Stu produces his wallet. Christ, that photo makes you look like Freddie Mercury. Both of us crack up, and I feel like we're on firmer footing here in the past. But it's a weird place for me, like going to Luna Park. Awesome fun, but leaves you a bit queasy. Stu rubs a hand over his chin. How's your dad then? 4 sips to get to this question. He's okay, a bit worse, but they're managing. I still see them a bit. I say g'day when I can, check in and that. They're always good to me. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. I take another sip to get rid of the lump in my throat. I don't know, says Stu. My folks go to church every Sunday, he shrugs. Plenty of people believe in shit that's not real, not hurting anyone. Just a few harmless traps in the bush. So what? So what? I think. So what is the thing you say when it's not your dad? It's 3 years ago. I'm legal now, 18 years old, and I'm in this classroom that smells of sandstone and privilege, shitting myself. When the tutor asks us for introductions and I mention Tassie, I get the usual titters from kids who think the world ends at Parramatta Road. But the history teacher frowns. The state of extinction. And for a second, I'm cold. He knows. My heart thumps. He knows about Dad. Which is ridiculous because obviously he doesn't know. But it's amazing how the fear of being found out screws with your head. So I go to ground. For weeks, I don't speak in shoots. And then we have this lesson where he tells us about Risdon Cove, the massacre and all the Indigenous men, women and kids gunned down. He gives me this raised eyebrow, and for an awful second, I'm relieved, because I get now that his extinction reference wasn't about Dad or tigers at all. I still hate myself for that. By the time I get to the traps, it's late afternoon and the bush is all purple, khaki and shadows. This place of death. This place of murder. Like I said, open spaces aren't all created equal. In the morning, I'm going to see if I can get an earlier flight. Tell Mum I've got to get back so I can finish an assignment. That first Bondi swim will clear my head. Gravel crunches like bone under my boots. The first trap is empty, so is the second one. I go to the third and stop. There's something inside, and that's not unusual. Sometimes he gets a stray Tassie devil or a quoll that's wandered in by mistake. But for a second, just a single second, I'm hopeful. I want it so bad. But it's just a roo. A delicate female. Disappointment beads on me like sweat. I open the trap, jostle it a little to scare her into moving. Behind the wire, she watches me with these terrified, currant eyes, and I wait, not moving, until she melts into the rustling scrub, so happy to be free. Back at home, Dad's slumped on the couch, watching the Demons v Bombers, one leg thrust out, the other folded. I jingle the keys and he looks, sits up with hope, muscles tensed for a moment where something is possible. Anything? He says. No, I reply, all empty. He grunts, slumps. The TV shouts with another goal to the Bombers and misery returns to my father's shoulders. Mum walks in with plates of curry rich with spice and onions. Smells great, Mum, ta. I take one off her hands. Good on you, Dal. Grateful. Always grateful. What's this, Muck? Dad drops a fork load back onto the bowl and the lamb sticks in my throat like sadness. It's curry, Kev. You like this one? Looks like shit. He pushes it away and Mum gives me this look that reminds me of the little roo in the cage. A decision clicks in me. My divided 4-chamber heart pumps away, blood going right to left, oxygen fueled. I swallow the meaty sauce. You know, Dad, when I was driving back, I think I saw something. They're both watching me now, and I speak into the sadness until Dad bounds out of the chair to go get his exercise book. Thank you, love. Mum takes my hand. The room exhales like a trapdoor has opened. Thank you. Many thanks for listening to this story. If you liked what you heard, please share it with a friend or leave a review on your favourite podcast app. You can find out more about my work, including my novels, at cassiehamer.com. Thanks for listening.